Hello, 7th and 8th grade violins. This is Skill Builder 12, and today we are going to continue looking at a day at Disneyland. This week we are at measure 59, working on It's a Small World. This is a melody that I am assuming you all know, and actually later on at measure 67 you will get to play the melody. But starting at measure 59, you have this beautiful harmony part that is very important, and we are going to talk about getting all of those notes perfect and right on the money, because at measure 59, it's a very exposed part for the violins, meaning there's not a lot of other things happening. You have violin 1s playing the melody, and then violin 2 and viola have some harmony. And so since 7th and 8th graders, you are the only violin 2s, this is all on you to make sure that this part is played beautifully, and I know you can do it. So let's take a look at the key signature at measure 59. We have one sharp. That means our Fs are sharp, but everything else is natural. And as I look through this, I see several notes that are sticking out to me as notes that could potentially be played incorrectly. I see several Cs, 2 fingers on the A string. We'll need to make sure that instead of having C sharps, we back them up to a low 2 C natural on the A string. I see 2 fingers on the E string, and instead of having a high 2 G sharp, we are going to want to have a low 2 G natural. I also see in measure 63 an F natural. Go ahead and take a look at that. See if you can think about how to play that note. An F natural on the E string is a low first finger. You're going to back that first finger up to the low 1 position, but it's only for that measure. After that measure, it goes back to being a regular F sharp, and you can see that in 65. They have what's called a courtesy accidental. It's an accidental they didn't have to write, that's why it's in parentheses, but they're saying, hey, it was F natural a couple measures ago. Just a reminder, it's back to F sharp. And so let's go through. I'm going to play from measure 59 to the end of 66. You can either listen or play along with me. This is what it sounds like. Now, by the way, this is going to go with the rhythm of It's a Small World, but the pickup is in the first violin. So they go bum bum, and then they go on to da 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 da, the part that you know. They get the pickup, and then you join them at 59, and your bow will move in the rhythm of It's a Small World. You're just playing the harmony part, so it's not the same notes. So 1, 2, here we go. Now that might sound a little bit weird on its own, but again, when you put it with that first violin melody, it's going to sound really, really cool. Now there was one thing I didn't talk about that I should mention really quick in measure 60. They have added a courtesy accidental in measure 60 as well for a couple of reasons. One, because you're just coming from a key signature where you had F naturals, but the other thing that it's helpful for is to remind you that in measure 60 you have 3 C naturals, 3 low 2s, followed by an F sharp. So instead of just crossing over to the D string, you have to pick that second finger up and move it to the F sharp position. So you have 3 low 2s and then a high 2 right after that. So that's super important. Let me play it one more time. If you listened last time, this time pick up that instrument and try it with me. Ready? 1, 2, here we go. Awesome. Now there are a lot of E string notes in there. You need to make sure that you know those notes. So if you're not sure about them, this is a good time to go back and review those so you can make sure you're playing them correctly. Now on the other end of the spectrum, starting at measure 67, you have a lot of G notes. And so if you don't know those, this is a good time to review that. At measure 67, you get the melody that you know and that you probably were excited to play. You have the melody all the way through around 73, and that's when it changes to something else. Let me play for you 67. Again, you can either listen or play with me at home. This is what it sounds like. Oh, so you can hear at 73, it does change. It's not the melody anymore. Now you can see underneath measure 74, it says RIT. That stands for ritardando, which means we are going to slow down. So you're going to need to look up at me at 74, and I'll show you 1, 2, that's your first half note, 3, 4 is your second half note. So don't change until you see the third beat. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Lots of notes on G, so if this is a good time, if you don't know your G notes, which we spent a lot of time at the beginning of the year on this, but if you're still struggling, this is a very important time to learn them. You want to make sure that you can play this melody accurately, and it's super fun to play when you know the correct notes. So put in some time now, and this will be a skill that you know for the rest of your time playing your instrument. So just learn it now, and that way you don't have to learn it later, right? So this was a relatively short video. Remember, just watching the Skill Builder video isn't going to help you learn it. I'm just guiding you, telling you a couple of things that you might need to know, and playing, giving you an example of what it should sound like. But now it's your turn to take some time to practice and make sure you know this stuff. So you have all the way until the next day 1 to learn this, and then on the next day 1 we will start playing it together in class. All right? So everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in class.